Chapter 15. Healing the Family. By Ginger Grancagnolo. Wounds of the spirit and the soul can drain our energy and impede us from carrying out our life's work just as surely as physical wounds can stop us. Fortunately, Jose Silva has given us a way to go deep within ourselves to the very best part of ourselves, where we can call on help from our higher self and a higher power to help us heal the hurt, rid ourselves of prejudice and disrespect for others, and by so doing, learn to love ourselves completely. We do not live in the world alone. The last thing that we read to students in our mental training exercises before we bring them out of level is, you are a superior human being, you have greater understanding, compassion, and patience with others. Jose put this at the place of honor, the very end of the conditioning cycle, the most powerful spot. Family is how we got here in the first place. It is the most important relationship we have, yet it often seems like a case of, can't live with M, can't live without M. How can family issues be avoided, solved, or resolved? Can we heal our own families? The last 25 years have been spent searching for solutions to societal problems, such as alcoholism, financial stress, lack of communication, control patterns, depression, and various kinds of abuse through self-help books, therapists, talk shows, and television sitcoms. Yet all these efforts seem to offer no real help. Why are we still stuck in family residue, unable to see the purpose and power of this genetic dilemma? I believe we perpetuate these kinship issues because we don't really understand the function of family. Family is a divinely ordained gateway so that we all emerge as independent children of God, able to use our full potential to create a life path that is personally fulfilling and that serves the whole of humanity. That sounds idealistic, but it is the truth. Family is our first society, our first experience in learning how to fulfill our individual needs while also sharing and interacting with others. This is obviously an important lesson, and one which applies to us as members of the family of humanity as well as to our biological family. Yet look at how people struggle over property, power, and greed. All too often we fight, argue, abandon, oppress, abuse, and fear each other. Can we solve these problems? Can we learn to treat all people, depending on their ages, as fathers or mothers, brothers or sisters, sons or daughters? Yes, we can. We can begin with our own families, and the healing will spread throughout the world. One of the most effective ways to heal our relationships is through the Silva technique of working a case. You enter the alpha level and mentally detect a problem that someone else has. Then you mentally correct the problem. The results can be amazing not only for the person you are mentally sending the healing to, but for yourself as well. Case Working Heals a Family. Carol, a Silva graduate from Arizona, shared her family's story. Here it is, in her own words. I completed the Silva training in April 1995. The next month I brought my 16-year-old daughter to her first class. In order to make the following event meaningful, you will need a brief history of family events prior to attending Silva. When she was 15, my daughter developed a serious relationship with an African American boy, and would sneak out of the house at night to see him. I was married at the time, and my husband was adamantly against interracial dating. Our home became a battleground. My daughter refused to stop seeing the boy. Her stepfather could not change his feelings, and I didn't want to come home anymore. This situation was altered by divorce. A few months later my daughter told me she was pregnant. I was not understanding. I got restraining orders, no trespassing orders, and anything else I could legally get in writing to try and keep these two apart. Our financial situation, which was precarious, meant nothing to my daughter. There was no way I wanted this unborn child to be linked to me, nor did I want to support it. My daughter went into labor May 30, 1995, and her baby was born the next day, 2 months early. The nurses tried to prepare us for all the physical problems the baby might have from being born premature. Throughout the night, I went to level and began working the physical issues that had been mentioned. At the end of these sessions, I would picture the baby as a young child crossing the finish line in a foot race. Then I would hug him and hold his arms up in a sign of victory. My grandson had some of the physical issues to deal with, but not all of them. He finally came off the ventilator after our local Silva instructor Joan McGillicuddy explained one of Jose Silva's holistic faith healing techniques that involves rubbing hands together and passing them over the baby 7 times. All previous attempts to take him off the ventilator had failed. I know he has proven to be a bridge between me and his father. I can now see positive in a culture I thought was beneath me because it was different from the way I was raised. My life is much more rewarding and a whole new view of the world has opened up to me. I am deeply grateful to Silva instructors Joan McGillicuddy and Tony Estrada for making Silva available to me and my daughter. The differences we see at the outer level are only superficial. At the spiritual alpha level we experience the reality that we are all creations of God who have been sent here for a purpose, and that we must pull together so that we can all fulfill our life's missions. There is no better place for healing the family, healing ourselves, and healing the problems of the world than at Alpha. Ginger Grancagnolo is a former teacher and guidance counselor. She holds a doctorate in education, as well as master's degrees in theology and guidance counseling. She has been a Silva instructor for more than 20 years and also has a private counseling practice.